Well, these are the worm farms mentioned in the previous article. As you can see, they're 3 500 litre plastic water tanks. Picked these up at a local hardware store on special for around $50 thereabouts. Each of the tanks has a lid on top, and in the lid we've put some venting, which two, one on either side, which means that the worms get nice and air. They're not airtight in any way, shape or form. Underneath that venting there is some insect mesh, which prevents flies and things getting in there, although you still get some maggots, particularly soldier fly maggots, in the bins, which really isn't a problem at all. So as you can see, we've got the 3 of them, and as a schematic pointed out, each of the 3 has a line around the top, and that delivers fresh water to the worms about once a week during the winter months and about twice a week during the summer months. And that's just delivered through these little sprayers, and there's actually 3 of those in each tub. And then in the tub, and this one has been going for quite some time, it was very, very full, but the worms have obviously done their job. In the bottom of the tub, right at the bottom, there is a slotted irrigation pipe with a mesh covering over it, and that actually pops out through the back, which is kind of hard to see here, but you can see it just down inside there, where it comes out the back and then flows down around the back and comes over into the sump here. So the sump, the water flows down and into this tank, and when this tank gets gets to a certain level, the the float there in the pump rises, the pump turns on, and it pumps out to the sprayer out over here, which will water the garden area when the garden area is completed. So as you can see, it's a fairly simple system for running worms. It allows the worm farms to be run on quite a large scale, and certainly does a very, very good job. Okay, so now you can see the worm farms in operation. What we've done is we've actually manually turned on the sprinklers. So in this tub we have the 3 sprayers that we saw earlier on the outside. They're now in operation, as you can see there. And what they do is they wet down the material inside here and the worms. The water flows down through the tank, through the water tank or the worm farm, comes around and out through the back, down through the ag pipe into our sump pump. Now our sump here is quite full. I've actually manually filled this up so you can see it in operation as well. That little blue pipe over in the corner is where the liquid from the worms will come as they fill up and they drain out to this sump. And what happens is when this sump fills up, as it has now, the float just over there rises to the surface, and that automatically kicks the pump on down inside. The pump pumps along through underground pipes out to the sprinkler head, which you can see is in operation now. Now that's a type of sprinkler head that's a low flow sprinkler head, doesn't require a great deal of pressure for it to operate, and it also displaces very large droplets, so they're not affected by wind too much. I mean, obviously gale force winds will affect those droplets, but not much else. So that then sprays out and covers pretty much most of the garden, touched onto the edge of the chickens here, and will certainly do a terrific job at spreading that worm wee and the wonderful nutrients and bacteria and all those lovely things that are in there out into the growing space. And that's pretty much the way the worm farms operate. They're a very simple device, and very, very useful. As said in the article, most of my scraps and food scraps and things actually come out through the chickens, which you've clearly heard in the background. But into the worm farms I do put anything the chickens can't have, for instance avocado bits and bobs. Also, as you can see in here, the sprays are now turned off. In here I've got some scrapings from inside the chicken's coop that'll go through the worms prior to it going out into gardens.